Welcome to my channel. Enjoy this video and subscribe my channel. Taking a chance at love on 90 Day Fiancé is one thing, but deliberately making bad decisions is what these cast members are great at. Anyone can make stupid choices that they regret later. However, some 90 Day Fiancé stars are notorious for not thinking of the consequences of making choices. Something about their nature continually prompts them to make bad choices. At that moment, their sense of reality could be distorted, but they will be living for a lifetime, with the experience of a terrible decision, perhaps blaming themselves or even others when it repeats. A person can make thousands of bad decisions in every waking hour. However, when a 90 Day Fiancé star does it, the consequences are bitter. The 90 Day Fiancé star gains instant notoriety and makes the viewers question their every move, especially when these choices create a domino effect of sorts and affect every other choice they make in their relationship henceforth. Not only does this affect their growth as reality TV celebs and turn them into a possible villain, their relationships are also at stake. Number 5. Tiffany. Tiffany's biggest mistake was deciding to move to South Africa to marry a man she hardly knew. The truth about Ronald Smith was revealed soon enough. He was hiding a dark past and had a gambling addiction. He had robbed his mother's house and sold her things for money. Tiffany still married Ronald and had a child with him. While marrying Ronald, Tiffany also got her son Daniel from a previous relationship involved. The little boy started calling Ronald his dad, and it broke his heart when his mom and stepfather kept having multiple breakups. Tiffany could have predicted that Ronald would never qualify for an American visa due to his criminal record. In 90 Day, the single life, Tiffany decided to end things for good and dated a man who liked her back, but again went back to Ronald. Tiffany was shamed when Daniel was shown giving her dating advice. However, Tiffany had obviously made another mistake. Ronald was two-timing her. She had to leave him when she figured out he was also involved with an ex. Hopefully, Tiffany has learned by now that another reconciliation with Ronald isn't possible. Number 5. Jabri Bolha used to be a thriving musician in Los Angeles, spent all of his money on traveling with his Siberian girlfriend, and had to go live with his parents in South Dakota in the end. Bunna wasn't a fan of the place and insisted they move to Los Angeles. Jabri was technically having financial issues due to his relationship, but Bunna didn't understand. The couple started flaunting the lavish lifestyle they didn't have on Instagram by posing with flashy cars and in designer wear until Bunna started craving it. Bunna left Jabri because he didn't have any drive in him. She claimed to have become a millionaire from selling huppasus and may have felt like Jabri was living off her earnings. Jabri's biggest mistake was marrying Bunna, who only cared about the money in his bank balance. She seems to have dumped him as soon as she found someone else. Number 3. Lauren Allen had already made a lot of questionable choices even before his series debut. He seemed to be running away from something because of how desperate he was to move to the Philippines. At one point, Lauren, even though he could marry Faith Tudok's elderly mother, to continue staying in the country and not have to go back to the U.S., Lauren's ex-wife had accused him of abandoning their 2 kids. He had 3 jobs and no savings. Lauren didn't have a roof over his head and slept with people, so he could sleep at their place. Lauren had multiple partners in the U.S. while telling Faith he was her boyfriend for 6 months. Lauren contracted gonorrhea during one of his liaisons and still went to the Philippines to meet Faith. Lauren's true colors started showing to Faith when he seemed to threaten her with a butter knife and crushed cans using his head and bare hands. It wasn't a shocker when Faith dumped him and he came back home. However, Lauren had more bad decisions to make. He married a different trans woman a couple of weeks later and divorced her within a year. Number 2. Devin Clegg was a mom to a toddler with a fascination for Asian men who swiped right on Jahan Lee on Tinder while knowing they were going to have cultural and communication problems. Devin met Jahan in person when he came to the U.S. and became pregnant with his child. She was unsure of whether she was ever going to see him again. While Jahan didn't ghost Devin, he could never step up as a father, despite which Devin attempted to move to South Korea twice. Devin and Jahan spoke with a translator since she never bothered learning the language. Devin didn't try to understand his traditions. She knew Jahan didn't have a well-paying job and pushed his buttons. Devin never took the blame for her bad decisions as it was always Jahan's fault, according to her. Devin has also received flack for her off-screen antics. She got into a new relationship immediately after leaving Jahan and got pregnant again. Devin has been judged because her 3 children have 3 different fathers. Number 1. Paul, Stella Nunta de Fiancé. Cast member Paul has hit an all-time low several times. Each time Paul makes it to the headlines, he surprises viewers by outdoing himself. Paul is unpredictable at best, and has never been a good husband or father in his storyline. Paul could never get himself to trust his wife, Karine Stella. The couple's arguments were so disturbing that they lost their son's custody and are currently fighting a battle for it. Paul has been an attention seeker, although it's been years he was last seen on the TV series. He has been living in Brazil, and even went missing recently while sparking rumors that he had died. Every other month, Paul implies that Karine is getting married again or is pregnant with someone else's child. Meanwhile, Paul himself was dragged for dating a teenager in Brazil. After all, Nunta de Fiancé fans won't forget that Karine was barely 20 or even younger when they met.